Good afternoon, y'all. This is my second time doing this video because the Amber Alert came on while I was in the middle of the last video, and I didn't realize that it had stopped recording. So I done walked 2 blocks talking and it wasn't even recording. So I'm taking the late walk today. I got to get my walk in because walking helps me move the energy, make sure the energy is flowing freely within me. Today has been enlightening. When I was in my sacred space, I was talking to my spirit team. I call them my spirit team, you know, my ancestors, Holy Spirit, spirit guides, my guardian angels. I just say my spirit team. But I was talking to them in my sacred place when I got up this morning. And I was in there for a few hours writing in my journal and just talking to them about life, about my experiences, my childhood. And so, yeah, my eyes, y'all probably can't see, but my eyelids are swollen from crying. And it wasn't a bad thing. I needed that cry because it was long overdue. And I'm not sad about anything. It's just things that I needed to release. You know, when you think you dealt with something, you ain't really deal with it. You just suppressed it, pushed it down, and kept it moving. And I realized that there was some emotions that I had suppressed and kept moving. And those emotions have been sitting there for years. Years they've been sitting there, since probably 2007. Yeah, I think. Late 2006, 2007. Something happened to me. And when it's time, I will share it with you all. My heart was broken. And I didn't deal with it in a healthy way. So I suppressed those feelings for years. And so finally this morning, as I was talking to my spirit team and replaying some events over my lifetime, you know, childhood stuff, relationships and whatnot, I realized that I've been suppressing things and just moving on. Like, my mindset was, okay, it is what it is. Yeah, I'm hurt, but I'm about to show them this is what I'm about to do, right? But I was still harming myself because I didn't release that stuff. And you know, when you hold things like that in, especially over a long period of time, it starts to take effect on your physical body. And of course you'd be off balance. But anyway, I was talking to my spirit team, and before I know it, forgive them for they know not what they do came out my mouth. And I was like, huh? How they don't know? But as I sat there and thought about it, folks don't know. They don't know what they doing. They know to a certain extent, is, you know, let me see how I can put it. Like, consciously, they know what they doing. But they're being controlled by what they have suppressed. They are being controlled by what's in their subconscious, because our subconscious mind is what controls, like, our movements for the most part. So we can say we gonna do something all day, but if it ain't aligned and it's not in our subconscious mind, it is not gonna happen. You can start and go for a little bit, but you're gonna fall off because it's not lined up. Your members or not in agreement. You consciously saying it, but subconsciously there's some rebuttal. So anyway, I remember Yeshua. I read this story of him being on the cross, him being crucified, and he praying for them, like, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Because a lot of people operate from a place of pain. They operate from a place of hurt and disappointment. And we're not taught properly how to deal with certain things. We're not taught properly how to handle disappointment, how to handle heartbreak, how to handle rejection. We're not properly taught about those things, so we don't know how to handle them. So we find our own ways to cope with that, which thus the ego is born, right? So, excuse me, you can't take personal what people do to you, because they have a certain level of awareness of what they're doing, but there's a lot that they don't know, and they don't realize that they're doing. There's a lot. So don't take it personal when people hurt you, especially if it's done intentionally, because that person is hurting on the inside. When you get to that point where you understand, okay, even though like, when you get to a point where you can look at somebody and they cussing you out, right, in your face, they just going off on you. You like, what did I do to deserve this? They sitting there cussing you out, but at the same time, you see right here, right? You see and you discern and you listen to your intuition telling you this person just lost their job or something. They just lost their job and they hurt. So instead of you respond or react in a negative way to what they doing, you give them a pass out. I understand how you feel, if you understand. Don't just lie and say you understand, but show them some mercy, show them some grace, because your intuition already told you what the real deal was. I mean, people carry stuff for years and they act the way they act. Like, a lot of people walk around acting like they hard, don't fuck with me type of attitude, but on the inside they hurting and they crying. That little child inside them is crying and hurting, but the only way they know how to protect themselves is to walk around acting like they're a badass, acting all hard, but really they're a jelly bean. Hard outer crust shell, but gooey and mushy on the inside. It's a jelly bean. So the other thing, when I was in my sacred space, I heard the scripture, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So I had to go look it up, of course, because I ain't been in my Bible like that in a minute, so I don't know exactly what scripture it was. When I went to look it up, I think it was Mark chapter 12, verse 30 and 31. Shoot, I still might be wrong, but I think that's what it was. And so verse 30 says, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. And the next verse says, the second one is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. These are the two most important commandments according to the Bible. Right? So that lets me know, if I don't know how to properly love myself, I can't properly love my neighbor. You get what I'm saying? If you don't know how to love yourself, you can't love your neighbor. So with that being said, if you realize that people don't know how to love themselves, why are you going to take personal when they hurt you or they in pain? Why would you hold resentment? Because they don't know what they're doing. They don't even know how to love themselves. So how can they love you properly and in a healthy way? And same for you. If you don't know how to love yourself, if I don't know how to love myself properly, I should not expect that I can love somebody properly and in a healthy way. Nor should I expect to experience the proper love. I don't know what that feel like. That's where self-love come in. That's where you spend time with yourself. You get to know yourself. You build a relationship with yourself. Because then you learn how to love yourself. And in learning how to love yourself, you learn how to properly love others. The first commandment is to love the Lord your God. How do you do that? Because that was my question. It's through obedience. It's through obedience. It's listening to that voice within, listening to your intuition. Learning yourself. Because the God in you is who you are to love first. The God in you. And you love the Most High by being obedient to those two commandments. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. That sounds like work to me. You gotta put in the work. Love is work. It's not just the emotion. It's an action. It sounds like work to me. So love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. You gotta love yourself first. You can't love other people if you don't love yourself. Love thy neighbor as thyself. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. You can walk around all day and do this and that. And it's a form of love, but it's not pure. That love comes from a place of brokenness. And that love only brings more hurt to the people that you encounter. So it's best to heal and learn how to love yourself properly. That way you can love others. So I just wanted to share that with y'all because I know it can be hard to forgive people for the error of their ways, especially when your heart ends up being broken or you're disappointed or you lose something. Of course, you should be upset to a certain extent, but you should not hold that over their head for the rest of their lives. You shouldn't harbor resentment. You shouldn't hate them. Especially if you know that person is already dealing with hurt. They already broken. And that's like a lot of people. It's only a remnant. That's why there's a remnant. There's only a remnant. Because everybody is not going to be willing to put in that kind of work that it's going to take to go through the healing process. Separation is necessary for healing because you have to shut out all the outside voices that you hear. All the outside influences, you got to shut them down so you can focus and go inward. Focus on you and learn how to love you. Learn what you like, what makes you happy, what makes you thrive, where your passions are. A lot of people don't know. Like, I'm just learning all this stuff. I'm just learning. You know, I'm grateful to be learning late than to have, and I ain't gonna even say that I'm late. Divine timing. But it's better to learn now than to not learn at all and just be lost. Lost and not knowing where I'm going. I mean, I'm still kind of lost, but I have a guide. And I know where my guide is leading me is in the right direction. But, yeah, I just wanted to share that with y'all. I will be doing the video on part 2 of the parable of the sower, when the farmer threw out the seed and the seed landed on the rocky ground that had shallow soil. And this one is going to be a big one, and it is real relevant for this time, for people going through their awakenings and things like that. And, you know, people transitioning from different things in their life, and they're having to deal with family, friends, or whoever that don't understand, that criticize them for the decisions they make. And me saying separation is going to play a big part, because you need that to build yourself up. You need that separation to get grounded. So when we go into the parable of the sower part 2, the rocky ground with the shallow soil, we're going to talk about the separation and how, you know, the seed sprouts so fast, and why did it scorch when the sun came up. We're going to talk about those things. Oh, yeah, I did a post today. If you follow me on my Facebook, Instagram, I'm on Instagram, it's Blue Lotus Flower 616. Blue is just BLU. There's no E on the end. Or Universal Soul Chronicles. I did a post today. I felt like it was needed. Number one, to celebrate myself, because only I and God knows the fullness of all that I've been through. So when I was sitting with my spirit team, you know, after I finished crying, I needed to celebrate, because I did release some things. And so I decided, let me go look for some of my old pictures, because it was not easy for me to drop all that weight. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to face some of the things that I had to face in order for me to get a certain level of healing. But I had to face them. And I do have a habit of not celebrating the small things, because, you know, it's like once you achieve something, and it could be good, once you get a victory, like you already, either you waiting, you already ready to move on to the next thing, or you waiting to see, you know, what's bad finna happen or something like that. Some of us don't even take the time to enjoy the fruits of our labor. We don't take the time to celebrate the small things. And that can steal our joy when we don't celebrate those small things. So I put that post up today because I want to celebrate myself, because God has given me tools. God has given me tools. He's brought people in my life to pour into me, to help me. But ultimately, I had to do the work myself. I had to make conscious decisions to do certain things, to be disciplined in certain areas, which I'm still working on discipline. But I had to do that work. You know, you hear a lot of people say, God gonna have to tell me this, or God gonna have to come down and do this in order for me to do this. But he's not. God is not gonna come down and do anything for you in regards to your journey. God will protect you. God will guide you. God will send individuals to either sow a seed or water a seed or help you at the time of harvest. But God is not going to do the work for you. You doing the work yourself is a sacrifice, because you have to die to self. You have to die to those things that you know. Dang, did something fly on my lip? You have to die. Sorry, y'all. Feel like something flew on my lip. You have to die to the things that you know are no good for you, or the people you know are no good for you, that are toxic, that bring out the worst in you. Why would you want to remain and be around somebody that brings out the worst in you? Why would you want to be around people, places, and things that bring out the worst in you or drain you of your energy? You ever go around somebody, you be feeling good, you chop it up with them for a minute, by the time you leave, you all drained and sluggish. You like, what the heck done happened? Why would you want to put yourself through that? They just siphoned your energy while y'all was sitting there chopping it up. Now you got to go back and recalibrate. So, yeah, we got to celebrate those small things. Other reason I put it up is because I did deal with suicide a lot back in the day. And a lot of people still today battle with those kinds of thoughts, whether they tell anybody or not. They do battle with them. But just some people being transparent and sharing their story, not worried about other people's opinions. Because I know a lot of people say, well, you don't want to share certain information because people could try and use that against you. But if you've already faced that truth and you've already dealt with it, they can't use it against you. Especially if you put it out there on your own. They can't use it against you. And even if they tried, so what? It is what it is. You know, we all here living, we all learning, we all make a mistake at some point. Sometimes it ain't a mistake, it's just a bad decision. And that's just what we wanted to do, bottom line. So, yeah, that's why I put that post up. Because I know where I came from. And I know there's somebody out there that is suffering silently and trying to figure out life. But I have to put that disclaimer out there. God is not going to do it for you. God only gives you the tools and the resources to do it on your own. He can lead you to where you need to be, but he's not going to force you to take action. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So no. Going through a spiritual awakening, climbing Jacob's ladder, it's not peaches and cream. It's not. It's like, can't even explain it. It's not all love and light, because we got to deal with the ugly sides of us too. Yeah, I'm gonna get off, but y'all be on the lookout for the parable of the sower part 2. I might do it later, I don't know, but I'll put it up here sometime this week. In the meantime, between time, you know what I'm saying? Y'all enjoy y'all's day. Yeah, I'll see y'all next time. Ciao for now.